Welcome back to Udder Chaos Dairy Farms, and after getting the dairy farm finally set up in our last episode, we are still officially broke. We got $3,460, so today's agenda is to make some money to get us to harvest. So the first job we're going to do to make some money is, we've been wanting to do this for a while. We had these trees that were damaged by the tornado, so I'm thinking we're going to cut down the ones that were hit on our farm and then also contact our neighbor to see if he'll pay us to do the same. And I've been wanting to actually cut some of these good trees to expand this lower grass field, because this area over here is kind of just wasted space, and now with all the dead trees, it's not really doing us any good. So I think once we sell the wood, that'll give us a few $1,000s. And I also heard that one of my neighbors has one of the new Nexat machines, and he offered to pay us to do some spraying and weeding on a couple of his fields, which would be really cool because we'll make some money and we'll get to try out some cool new machines. So I think if we take care of those two jobs, we'll be able to get enough money to make us to harvest. And then once we start selling some bales in our crop, we should be okay for a couple months. I'm going to go get the pickup truck and the gooseneck trailer. I think that's the only thing we have to move this wood. Luckily, the lumber mill is not too far down the road, and I'm going to get working on these trees. Our cows are doing okay right now. They only have eaten a couple thousand liters of the hay, and they have not yet begun to produce any milk or slurry. We did just get into June, so I'm sure by the end of the month they'll get going. Alright, we got the first load on the trailer. We ended up cutting just 4 trees down. I think I'm going to leave those 2 there and this one. We'll get rid of these stumps and we can expand this field into this area. And the trees just give us a little bit of a divider between the road, this field, and the cow field. So I'm going to bring this down to the sawmill, see how much money we get. We'll come back for this last log, cut the stumps, and then work on our neighbor's trees. Oh, God. Turn the truck off. We just crashed off the side of the road. Jesus. I think those trees were a little too much weight for this truck and trailer to handle. Oh, man, this is not good. This is not what we needed today. I'm okay, though. I think the truck and the trailer are okay. Maybe some minor damages. But we're definitely going to be stuck down here. I have no idea how we're going to pull this out of here. I don't have a winch or anything back at the farm. I think we're going to have to call a tow truck. And the lumber mill is just across the street. We'll be back when the tow truck gets here. So the tow truck is here. He's going to get set up and try to pull us out of this ditch. Alright, he got us all pulled out. It's going to cost us $3,000 for the recovery. That leaves us with only $460 left. Minimal damage to the truck and the trailer, which is good for us, and most importantly, we weren't hurt. So we'll continue on to the sawmill, learn from our lessons. We won't overload the trailer. We'll drive a little slower and get back to selling this wood. Big thank you to RMC Trucking for the recovery. And man, for $3,000 for a simple recovery like this, maybe we can get into the towing and recovery business later. We got just under $3,000 for that first load, so that actually paid for our recovery. So we're back to breaking even. Let's go cut some more trees and bring down another load of wood. So it's getting dark out, so this will be it for today. We got the rest of the trees cut down and all the wood that we already brought down to the sawmill. We made about 12,000 bucks. So tomorrow we'll get right back at it and bring the rest of this down to the sawmill, and then we'll move on to the next job. So we got the last of the wood sold, looking better out there. He said not to worry about the last trees off to the edge of the property there, but after everything sold off, made about $29,000. Our floating cows are back. They are just some extraordinary cows. So we got one more job to do. I think we have some herbicide or fertilizer to spread, but we're going to be checking out one of the new Nexat machines. So we're really excited to do that. So I'm going to get this trailer put away, and then I'll meet you out in the field, test out the Nexat. We are on our way to fulfill a contract. We're going to do some herbicide spraying for a local farmer. They're going to pay us about $4 grand, I think, to do the field. But the real reason we're doing it is because we're going to try out the new Nexat system. So really excited for that. So I'll see you guys when we get there. And we have arrived, and there it is just up ahead. And oh my god, this thing is huge. That's what she said. And here it is. This is the Nexat system. The owner gave us a little rundown, but we're mainly going to have to figure this out on our own. This thing is huge. So the main component is the Nexat. So that has the cab and the tires and the chassis and everything. So that alone costs $655,000. It's 1,100 horsepower, weighs in at 24.4 tons. And attached to it, because we're going to be spraying, is a Daman sprayer. That's $249,000, weighs in itself at 11.6 tons, can hold 22,000 liters of herbicide, fertilizer, or lime, and has a 56-meter working width. So we're going to get right in and start spraying this field over here. Yeah, it's got some small, maybe some medium weeds. So this thing's as big as it is. This will knock it out pretty quick, but it just gives us a chance to test out this big machine. So let's hop in. Fire this up. Unfold this thing. Jeez, this thing is massive. Put it into work mode. I'm not sure which direction we head in. I think we head out this way, so essentially we're backwards. So let me turn this thing around. Alright, got this thing lined up. Can move our cab actually, which is really cool. Could look in on that way. We can go all the way around over here. And man, we can almost do this whole field in one pass. Could raise it up or down. Kind of keep it in the middle there. Turn this thing on. And let's start moving. I think it's pretty cool. It doesn't actually turn on the sprayer until it senses the field, or at least the weeds. Definitely pretty cool. Such a different perspective being in the cab this way, looking over the top of the machine. But you definitely get a good view of everything that you're working on. And look at that, shuts right off when it senses the edge of the field. And look at that, we almost got the whole field just in one pass. So try to maneuver this thing. Go. Line up to this edge. Turn it on. And get this area over here. So the contract's only at 86%. We hop into the map here. It looks like where the tires ran over, it's not calculating as weeded. So it might be just a flaw in the system, but we're going to call that contract complete. And we're going to give ourselves the 4,500 bucks, I think, for the contract. And then we have one more to do over on field 64. I think that's $4,500 as well. And they said we could actually drive this over there. So this is going to be fun. Let's get this folded up and head on over to field 64. Come back for the truck later. Gotta take very wide turns with this machine. Alright, we've arrived at field 64. Turn it on. Let's get spraying. That's it. Spraying contract number 2 done. Picked up another 4,500 bucks. Get this thing packed back up, and they said just to leave it here and they will take care of the transportation. So definitely cool. The NexSat system, got to try out the sprayer today. It also does harvesting and seeding It'll do your cultivating and weeding. Definitely a cool machine. Really need a big field to utilize this to its max. One day when we expand out the farm and get ourselves some acres, maybe we'll pick one of these things up. It is very expensive, over $1 million, probably closer to almost two by the time you get all the machines and the attachments, but it is an all-in-one system. Definitely cool. So let's head back to the farm, see how our cows are doing. In a couple weeks we'll be getting ready for harvest. Back on the farm and the cows are doing great. The meadow is grown in and they still have plenty of hay to eat. They started producing a little bit of milk and slurry as well, and I think we'll look into getting another 20 cows next month. Our grass field down here is grown in. It is ready for harvest, so we will jump on that, get it mowed, tethered, and baled. We'll start work on that tomorrow. Our oat fields, however, are not doing good. I've had some bugs, hence why the delay in getting this video uploaded. Done a lot of testing and restarting and deleting mods and adding mods, and this field has just not been working. I got the grass field to grow because it had stopped growing as well, but the oats are just not doing it. So it's still stuck in the beginning stages. We'll see what happens as the month progresses, but we may just have to replant this field and start over. But we'll see what happens. So for now, we'll get working on the grass. We'll take care of our cows. We'll continue doing some side contracts and keep things moving on the dairy farm. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode.